Spring has sprung, and it's almost that time of year again. Summer break. You heard that right. It's almost time for summer break. The time of year every kid loves. When we can lay around in the house all day like a lazy dog. Wake up late, or at least later than 7 o'clock. And we don't have schoolwork. So hang in there, keep doing your best, and let's close out the school year strong. Now, listen up, I have some very important breaking news. This year, I am launching the first ever All Things Madison book club, complete with the summer reading list. This is a big deal, guys, because I'm working to get the books on the list approved by your local schools and libraries, so you can get credit for them. How cool is that? And we're working to get some cool sponsors to come along too. So listen up and stay tuned for more details. Kicking off the book theme, this week I am doing a review with a new segment called New to You Books. These are books that have been out for a while, but you may not know about. So I decided, how about I show them a little love, right? This week's book is by one of my favorite authors, Sarah Aronson. You might remember her from my interview with her in Finding Gusto, episode 10. Well, I'm reviewing one of her books this week, The Wish List, the worst fairy godmother ever. Enjoy!
Welcome to All Things Madison, the podcast exclusively for kids, sure to tickle your funny bone while learning something new at the same time. You'll hear from talking bears, laughing unicorns, and farting sloths.
Excuse me, announcer lady, but it ain't that kind of show.
Are you sure?
Yes. I'm the producer. That's the thrifty little diva show you're talking about. You know, the other one.
Okay then, on that note, here's your host, Madison Lauren, and her dad. Oh, right, let's see here. And her super smart, hilariously funny, best of best dads, Mr. Durante Smith. Please enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm your host, Madison Lauren, and welcome to my show. Each week, we introduce you to exciting people with cool jobs, go behind the scenes of new places, or we review books, movies, and topics that kids care about. Oh yeah, and the show is produced by my dad, the goofball you might hear from time to time, and supported in part by Kids Listen. And if you'd like to support us, you can simply go to patreon.com/allthingsmadison. We'll be updating the page soon. Oh, and be sure to click the subscribe button, like now. Now on to the show. Now, I know a lot of you may not recall, or maybe you haven't heard my interview with Miss Aronson, so here's just a clip to refresh your memory.
I had a hard time in school. I had a hard time listening and sitting still and paying attention and following the rules. All of that stuff was really hard for me when I was a kid. And so when it came to Isabel, I wanted to write about a girl who wanted to be a fairy godmother, but who had problems in school. And she had to overcome her challenges to become a great fairy godmother. And Nora, who is the girl who she's going to grant wishes for, she has some of the problems I had too. Sometimes she's a little bossy. And so all of those things went into these books from memories and from feelings from when I was a kid.
Miss Aronson's book series is titled The Wish List, and the book I'm reading is the first in the series, called The Worst Fairy Godmother Ever. Now, for those of you who know absolutely nothing about the series, it's about a young fairy named Isabel. Isabel finally comes to age to enter the fairy godmother in training, but there's an obstacle in her path, her sister. Like most sisters, there's sort of a love-hate relationship, where one is perfect and the other is sort of less than, or not quite as good. Isabel must deal with her sister not being able to please the others, especially Claudia and her grandma. For her training, Isabel is assigned a practice princess, but surprisingly, the girl is not a princess at all. She's just a normal girl named Nora, who doesn't even believe in fairy godmothers, or wishes come true, or happily ever afters. So Isabel's job has just become impossible. And this sets up the plot of the story, which I'll share more about right after this break.
We'll return in just a moment.
Mystery Recipe is a kids podcast about cooking from America's Test Kitchen Kids that is jam-packed with trivia, science, and of course, food. New episodes come out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Each week features a different kitchen ingredient. And for each season's grand finale, we'll use all of the ingredients for a recipe cook-along. The recipe is a mystery. Will you be able to guess what it is? Listen to Mystery Recipe today, anywhere you get your podcasts. And keep on cooking.
And now back to the show.
The stage is set for the plot of the story. The plot is what keeps you interested. It's the heart of the story. And at the heart of this story is a young fairy who wants to desperately become a fairy godmother. She has all the right stuff, or so she thinks. In fact, she has everything but gusto. And what is gusto, you ask? It's a little dash of grit, a sprinkle of determination, and a lot of awesome, or just overall belief in yourself. Can you imagine if you got paired up with someone you're supposed to do fairy godmother stuff for, and she doesn't even believe in you? Yeah, that has to be tricky to pull off. But after meeting her and spending time together, Isabel is met with a surprise she did not expect. Nora wanted her to stay, but Isabel couldn't. Isabel felt badly for Nora and hoped she wouldn't remember her. Maybe she'll make new friends and be happy after all. Talk about a surprise twist. Very clever, Mrs. Aronson. Very clever indeed. We'll get into my final thoughts on the book right after this.
We'll return in just a moment.
In the beginning, everyone was nice. But over time, so slowly that no one could say when it started, the fairies and the ponies got mean. Rumors spread across the land that they were to blame for various things gone wrong, things gone missing. And before you knew it, it was common knowledge that the fairies and ponies were bad. Beatrice knew this better than anyone because, although she couldn't prove it yet, she knew that the fairies and ponies had stolen her egg. And stealing a dragon's egg, in Beatrice's opinion, was going too far. But to confront them, she would need the help of a knight. To find out what happens next, please subscribe to Fairies and Dragons, Ponies and Knights on your favorite podcast player.
And now back to the show.
I hear this all the time. Madison, why should I want to read books if they aren't assigned to me in school? Well, it's because reading is fun. You get to visit places you've never seen before. You get to see things through someone else's eyes. You get to walk in someone else's shoes. It's like TV or movies. It's a form of escapism, which just means a break from reality or the real world that lets our minds get a much-needed break and relax for a moment. And with this book, we get to imagine a world where young fairies and girls can coexist, where fairies are real and their magic is too. And we see how sisters overcome their problems. What I thought of this story is that everything was exciting, but what happened in the book surprised me. I don't want to give away the book, but let's just say when Isabel steals the sparkles and she is warned it's a bad idea, she takes them anyway. The result was disastrously funny. And when Claudia tries to help Isabel, but Isabel pays her no attention, it just seems like something sisters do. Or, it's also very funny to see Isabel trying to be like Angelica and Fawn, the other fairy godmothers in training. To sum it up, this is a super book. You'll find it funny with the big sister, little sister annoying thing going on, but I advise you to check it out. I give this book an A+. Great job, Miss Aronson. Oh, and one last thing. The book comes with a really cool wand and necklace. You should get your copy today. And now it's time for the joke of the day. Yep, I'm back and in rare form. Get ready to laugh your butts off. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Did you hear about the fire at the circus? It was intense. Get it? Intense? Next, why do ducks have feathers? To cover their butt quacks. Okay, next one. What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One is really heavy and the other's a little lighter. Get it? Lighter? Zippo? Next one. What does a nosy pepper do? It gets jalapeno business. Jalapeno, like all up in your business. Get it? That was a tough one. And last but not least, why should you never trust stairs? Because they're always up to something. Okay, folks. I asked you to send in your most funny jokes, and my most loyal followers did. This one is from Ashley in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ashley says, when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes a parent. Get it? A parent? Good one, Ashley. You have a future in entertainment. And the next is Nohala, from the very sunny island of Hawaii and the Hawaiian Islands. Fun fact, Kauai is Hawaii's 4th largest island and is sometimes called the Garden Island, which I'm told by my Auntie Shauna is an entirely accurate description. Nohala says, what kind of shorts do clouds wear? Thunder pants. Oh boy, you guys are bringing the girl power heat today. Good stuff. Okay guys, if you know of a good joke, send it to me and I'll read it on the show. And I'll give you credit too. Thanks. And now it's time for the word of the day. The word of the day is escapism. Escapism is to take a break from the reality or the real world by doing something else, such as watching a movie, listening to a podcast, or even reading a book. Hannah reads lots of books as her main form of escapism from her troubles at home. The word of the day is escapism. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the show. I never want to take you for granted, so just know it means a lot. Now, people are asking, where can they find my stuff? If you're looking for the coolest tees, hoodies, accessories, and more, you can just go to shopmadisonlauren.com and you will find everything there. Now, do me a favor and take a moment to hit the subscribe button under this episode or video. That way, you'll be notified when each new episode comes out. And if you enjoyed the show, kindly leave us a 5-star rating and a short review if you have time. This lets other moms and dads know they too should download it for their munchkins. Okay, on that note, I'm out.
Thank you for listening to All Things Madison. Kindly take a moment to subscribe, leave a comment, and rate the show so that our participating partners know you are following along. You can get your Madison Lauren graphic tees at shopmadisonlauren.com or follow her YouTube channel at All Things Madison. This production was brought to you by Infinity Global Media Group LLC. Contact us at smith.durante@gmail.com for bookings or more information.